All right, everyone. Hello and welcome into today's discussion, which probably would have been more topical had I made a video about this last week. Social media has kind of calmed down on this topic. I don't really see it popping up anywhere anymore, but I still think it's worth a short video. We can discuss it briefly here in our little community and talk about the Kirk Cousins trade scenario that's for some reason keeps circling back to the San Francisco 49ers. And I am guilty of this. I did a video on this exact subject last year about potentially trading for Trey Lance. You know, all the same talking points. Kyle Shanahan needs a different quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is not it. Maybe Trey Lance isn't ready. They have a roster that is ready to win now. And all those talking points still sort of apply today. So real briefly, let's discuss Kirk Cousins getting traded for Trey Lance potentially, which I don't think it's going to happen. I'll just throw that out there. But still, it's a situation worth discussing. So let's have that discussion. So Kirk Cousins, is he going to get traded this offseason? I'm going to guess no, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, they just went 13-4, albeit there was a pretty fraudulent 13-4. I know people don't like that word, but 11-0 in one-score games, that's never happening again. So they won 13 games. They got to the playoffs. They won the division. I think it would be a pretty hard sell to ownership, the Will family, to come in this offseason and say, hey, we were very successful last year. Kirk had a pretty good season, but we need to trade him because we got to do something different. I don't think the Wilfs are going to buy that. That's an argument I think that would be a tough sales pitch for anybody to make. And I'm not sure at this point in their short Vikings careers, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell are ready to do that. I think that they are willing to go through one more year with Kirk Cousins. And it seems like in terms of everybody at a higher level in this organization would be fine with that. Number two, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to get traded because he's got the no trade clause now. So there's no reason for him to agree to any of that unless he wanted out of Minnesota, which I don't think he does. I get the vibe that Cousins really wants to be here long term, forever. He wants to retire in Minnesota Vikings. So I don't think he'd say yes to a trade. It would have to be something. It would have to be something for him like that just made too much sense. It was like the perfect fit. Like, and I got to say, I don't think Cousins is interested in going to a team that can win because I think, obviously this team can win. They just won 13 games. It's possible. But I don't think he's interested in joining a team like the 49ers to go win a Super Bowl. I think he's more interested in his own career and, being financially secure. I'm not trying to debate his competitive nature. I just don't think that, being traded to a situation where you are all in for a Super Bowl is his cup of tea. I don't really think it's his thing that he's looking for. I think he's just looking for the best situation for himself and his family. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's actually commendable. I hope more players do it. And then the last but not least, trading with the 49ers, I think that window closed last year. So the situation currently is that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't it. I don't think that they're going to revisit Jimmy Garoppolo again. Brock Purdy has the injury that he sustained in the NFC Championship game that is going to keep him out for a significant amount of time. And then you have Trey Lance coming off of his injury that's going to keep him out a significant amount of time. So it's up for debate, I think, whether or not Trey Lance is going to be ready for the regular season. Who knows? But they're entering a situation where they have some volatility at the quarterback position, yet they have a really damn good roster that is ready to win a Super Bowl right now. And it's questionable how long that they can keep that charade up. But, it's been maintainable because they have quarterbacks on very, very cheap contracts. And that's one of the keys to winning. So do I think that the 49ers would risk it all by bringing in Kirk Cousins and that salary cap hit? Plus, there's this whole situation you got to work out who's going to take on most of those payments, right? Who's going to pay the most of that Kirk Cousins contract? Can you talk the Vikings into doing it? Can you convince the 49ers to do it? And then there's compensation, in terms like, what are the Vikings going to do with 2 years of Trey Lance on a rookie contract? Because, that fifth-year option, that's expensive. It's good to have, but it's expensive. It's not part of the game plan when you want somebody on a very cheap contract that it gets up there in price. Somebody who hasn't played a lot of football. I was a big Trey Lance advocate when he was coming out of college at North Dakota State in the NFL draft that year. And I thought he was going to do wonders, but he just hasn't played a lot. And that's a problem. And, is that a dynamic you want to introduce to this team? I am all for drafting a quarterback at the right time and, using that method as an approach to building a championship team. but you only got Trey Lance for 2 years, and this would be one of them. And you're going to be you're going to be in a very difficult place this year just trying to get free agents to build a team into, because that's what the 49ers have been doing. They've been drafting well, and they've been plugging holes with free agency, and they've been hitting more often than not. The problem is the Vikings need to do that, but they don't have enough time to do that in 1 year. They don't have the resources to do that in 1 year. So they can't really follow that model in less amount of time than the 49ers have been using to build it up. Because remember, the 49ers had a couple years where they had to be bad, and they had to get top overall picks. That's the only way you're going to get guys like Trey Lance and Nick Bosa, who was just named Defensive Player of the Year today. So all of those situations combined, all of those circumstances, all of those reasons, I don't think that this is a viable approach for anybody to solve anything, at least as of today, as of this recording. I think the Vikings will hang on to Kirk Cousins this year. I would have liked to have traded for Trey Lance last year. I think it would have made more sense last year. I think it would have made even more sense to try to trade up to get a rookie quarterback like Justin Fields the year before. I know people are going to say Justin Fields is a bust, but I don't see it. I think he's capable. It's just a matter of getting the right talent around him and the right coaching staff, which you could say about anybody, but I think in this situation, it fits the bill. But right now, in our current situation for the Minnesota Vikings, trading Kirk Cousins for Trey Lance for only 2 years of rookie contract control doesn't make sense to me. I think that if we're going to take that approach, then we need to strip this entire thing down to the foundation and start working up again, because there's just not enough resources and time to take advantage of 2 years of a quarterback on a rookie contract. I just don't see it, especially somebody who hasn't played enough to really give you a generous sample size onto how good he could be. I still think the raw talent is there, the arm strength, the mobility. I think it's too risky. I think this is too much of a risky play. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.